Hi everyone, Anthony Morgan's Training Academy. Today is about Karambits. Now Karambits, I train all the time with Karambits, and I've trained with a lot of guys that have taught me a lot about Karambits. There's not a lot to know about them other than they're hard to disarm. Okay, now spinning all these Karambits, that's just part of the position. So if I'm doing any cuts, I can rotate that in my hand. A lot of times, like in Indonesia, you can be tying knots and stuff and still have the Karambit in your hand and still operate with them. The flash of the Karambit looks really cool. You have to just be careful not to stick your hand. So this is my training one. Now I got a couple that came in yesterday. This is one. This is a kind of a large monster. Okay, an M48. Now it's a lot to have to wheel. Okay. Now you can go like that. Now did you see that little reaction on my hand? It's got this nub sticking out here. That cuts into your hand if you're going to try to roll it. Now why would you want to roll it? Well, just because if you're working Karambits, that's kind of what we do. We get used to that roll. Now this thing is a monster. It is sharp, but with this other edge here, it's mainly so your thumb can be on it so that you can cut, you can rake, you can do all kinds of things. You can hit with this end. You can't twirl them, okay? That little tip there will not allow you to twirl. So as a self-defense tool, it's one of those questionable things. Sure, you can carry this thing and you can do a lot of damage with it. Is it easy to operate? No, it's not. It's too heavy. The blade is like a 1/4 inch thick, and it's a massive knife. Now, it's going to look threatening. If you pull it for self-defense, it's going to look threatening. The sheath on it is not real secure. This as that fits down inside there. See how it kind of slips out. Okay, it's not real secure. It is kind of menacing looking though, and but it's a chunk of metal. If you have smaller hands, this M48 is not going to fit real well because I have big hands and there's still slop in here. Okay, the ring is huge, so if you got little tiny fingers, you're going to have a lot of. So, as a self-defense knife, I would say no. But for something you want to carry to make scary looking, it'll work for that. Okay, this is a little bit smaller one. This came into my shop here a while back too. Now this one's a little bit more manageable. Okay, I can wheel this one. It all comes down to, do you want to learn how to wheel your Karambit? Now the only reason that we will spin these is so that we can open it up for cutting. See how I brace it here for cutting. Now I can cut the hand, I can cut under the arm, I can cut the neck, okay? And that's the position that we will cut in. Are you gonna ever spend that much time learning how to get in close fighting like we do? Probably not. So just as carrying a Karambit, this one's got square edges. It will rotate okay. I can rotate it, but it still has square edges here on the top. Now this one's set up to where you can tie it to a staff. It has two holes, so you can strap it onto a staff or a stick so you can get a slash out of it. That's probably the one good thing. The handle's a little smaller on it. The blade's not bad. It's got a decent hook on it. Pulling it out and defending yourself with it, it will work. It's still a little bit larger. As you see my training one, it's a little bit smaller and it's a little bit more manageable. So when you're thinking about a Karambit, think about why you want to carry it. Is it because the look of it, because this looks scary, or do you want it for functionality? Okay. Now a lot of guys will carry it like this in this position. Now it's a different animal. Okay, now I'm locked into that blade. The, the, the bad thing about it, if you don't know how to, and if you've never trained with a karambit and somebody does take this, they can break your finger. Okay, even if I'm here, if they get that, they can break the finger. So you have to have the training to understand how to not allow them to get the knife out of your hand to injure your fingers. So, but anyway, this is not bad. Any knife is going to be a good knife for self-defense. And I say any knife, and that's a big statement. Now, any knife, it's like this neck knife that I carry. It's small. It's a Benchmade. It's small, 2 1/4 blade. And when I say any knife is going to be good in self-defense, if somebody walks up behind you and gets you in a bear hug, and you pull out a little knife like this and you stick it in their hand, it's going to be good for self-defense. It could be a little tiny pocket knife. If it's got a 1-inch blade and you start sticking it in the hand there, if they have a hold of you from the back and you're sticking that little 1-inch knife into their hand, at that point, that's going to be a good self-defense knife. But you have to practice. You have to practice doing that. Okay, what if that little knife's in your pocket? Can you get to your pocket to get that little knife out? So all these little tiny details, and that's why I said any knife is a good self-defense knife if you can get to it to use it. Guru Dan used to used to say to us, all you really need is just the tip there, okay? Just the tip. You don't need the whole blade, okay? Just the tip. Now, with that tip, if you run this down the arm, he's going to bleed seriously. And then that's where the psychology comes in. It's like, telling him if he doesn't get to the doctor, he's going to bleed out. Well, it's not a deep enough cut to even stitch up. So it's more psychology in self-defense than it is actually cutting to the bone. So it's just the tip, and that comes from Guru Dan and Asanto. So, the psychology is more important than actually, sticking somebody. So just the tip, just a little tiny bit there, and that's all it takes. It's like, think about it when you get a paper cut, how much that hurts. And so you have to imagine if you run that down the arm with just that little tiny tip, okay? It's a great move. You didn't hurt them seriously, and you got them off you in time. And so self-defense, any knife, and that's why I said any knife is going to be a good knife. I sell little tiny knives in here that are like half inch long. They're cool, and they would serve as a self-defense knife. But you're not going to run it through their lung, or you're not going to run it through their neck. But if you learn verbal judo and learn it well, you'll do well. And so that's kind of it on today on some karambits. If you guys are thinking about karambits, they're cool to have. They look cool. To be carrying one, I don't know if I would. I like just, of course I like utility, so that's why I carry a Kershaw. It doesn't have any serrated edges on it. Serrated edges, you can't really carve like this. And so I like a good utility blade, and something that, of course, I'm a working guy, so I'm always working with wood or working with metal or rubber or, doing something. This is not a real functional knife, and it basically only has one intention: scaring people and cutting around corners. See that? Kind of cuts around a corner. So, karambits. Yeah, they're cool. They're cool to play with. You know, it's like my trainer. I love my trainer, okay? It's cool. You grab my wrist, and I can run the karambit around, get your wrist off, get your hand off my wrist. Okay, they're cool. So, anyway, just a little bit about karambits. And any questions, you can always shoot me a question on my YouTube. And thanks for watching, and continue to subscribe to our channel. And I'll see you in the next video.